Do not be alarmed. It's just a couple of guys. Who are these guys? Ray Regina, beloved former mayor of St. Charles, lifetime educator. And Pat Crimmins, a Geneva lawyer, but he's actually okay. From Elgin to Aurora, from Naperville to Elburn, these guys are gonna talk everything. So, here's Pat and Ray.
Welcome, everybody. Just a couple of guys, Pat Crimmins, along with my partner, Ray Regina. And today, we are lucky enough to be at Two Brothers Tap House in Warrenville, Illinois, to talk with our good friend Jim Ebel, co-owner of Two Brothers, about his enterprise and the vastness of it and all things included in it.
Pat, in our vast programming over the last 4 times, we've included whiskey, wine, and now beer.
Right.
I would say we're pretty comprehensive.
And not to say that the Fox Valley area is limited to just fun and frolic, but that has been kind of a theme lately.
Well, and it also goes to the fact that in each of those 3 places, including this one here, you're talking about small business, entrepreneurs getting started and developing distilleries and going beyond the boundaries of Illinois to sell their wares.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear from Jim about the entire story of Two Brothers. It's amazing how they started and what they've become. It's amazing. And if you've been to Two Brothers in Aurora and Two Brothers here and all the other businesses that they have, it's very exciting.
Well, we're going to make sure that we get all of that in and more after a word from one of our fine sponsors. So you stay tuned.
The 𝐂𝐞𝐞𝐫 are back for the summer. The best family entertainment around features sunshine, baseball, and fireworks through Labor Day. With great food, world-class entertainment, exciting giveaways, and running the bases after every game, there's something for everyone at a Cougars game. Thirsty Thursdays feature $2 beer, pop, and half-price hot dogs. And for Sunday day games, a $15 ticket will get you $15 right back in concessions cash to spend at the ballpark. Come on out to beautiful Northwestern Medicine Field this summer for sunshine, baseball, and fireworks, and make your family memories today.
I've been thinking about you, boy. Yeah, yeah. All I think about is you, boy. All I think about, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. All I think about is you, boy. All I think about, yeah, yeah. 맘만하는 사람 손으로 하여 우리 둘만 완벽한 lover. 내 맘만하는 사람 손으로 하여.
Okay, we're back. Just a couple of guys, and we're very happy to be joined by Jim Ebel, co-owner of Two Brothers Brewing Company. Jim, thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out and joining us and finding out what we're about.
We're very excited, and anything we can do to go on the tour. The first thing that I wanted to ask you is if you can give us a little background as to how this all got started. I guess back in 1992, you and your brother Jason started something called the Brewers Coop in Naperville.
Yeah. So I had studied abroad and learned about beer, including this one of my favorites, the 𝐄𝐫-𝐨𝐫𝐢𝐨𝐿, which is a wheat beer. And I had no idea. I was in Europe in 1989, and I didn't know what wheat beer was. They just didn't have such a thing in the United States yet. So when I came back, started homebrewing, which was very, very, very popular in the 1990s.
Right.
And then opened a homebrew shop to support that. And then Jason, my brother, got involved, and we started talking about beer all the time until our mom basically said, you need to either act on this or just stop talking about it.
Mom has had enough.
She had enough.
Was Mom a beer drinker?
Nope, not at all. I mean, no, not really much at all. But
So Mom
it was definitely the
business.
segue into it.
Yeah.
Well, she was the kind of final nudge, like you're on the cliff, either back away or jump off, and we jumped.
So then you started, I think, in 1996 with Two Brothers?
some more appetizers here as we speak.
This was a
Yeah,
condition.
we're bringing out some stuff just to show off a little bit. We have really a scratch kitchen here, so we make just about everything in house, including the pretzels, which is probably our most popular appetizer.
Now I've heard of a scratch golfer, but what's a scratch kitchen? Just
We just make everything from scratch.
I see.
So we buy flour and make pretzels, and
Nice.
we make our salad dressings, and a lot of those things that many other restaurants will buy packaged,
Very nice.
pre-made. We like making it. It tastes better, we think.
Well, I guess the follow-up question is, do we have a main chef here that takes care of all of it?
Well, yeah, we've got an executive chef. He oversees this location and our roundhouse in Aurora. And then there's a chef in each building as well.
Okay.
I noticed we use the word executive a lot. There's an executive assistant we met earlier.
Well, if you can't pay him, you got to give him a big
Everybody's got a title. I appreciate that.
Karen does a nice job, I might add.
Very nice job. She's been fantastic. Now, there was something about 2 bulk milk tanks.
title. Oh, yeah.
Tell us the story about that, if you will.
So this is, these are things I haven't thought about in a while, to be honest. But
Yeah.
our grandpa was a dairy farmer in Nebraska. My dad grew up on the farm, and as we were starting the brewery, our grandpa had retired, and he had bulk milk tanks. He was a dairy farmer. He did crops as well, but primarily a dairy farmer. And those are all very sanitary stainless steel tanks
Right.
because of the health risks of dairy. And so we were able to take those tanks, put them on a truck, and drive them out here and use those for fermentation tanks. There's a lot of overlap in kind of food tank construction. And so they're not exactly like what we use now, but they were certainly good enough to get us started, and we probably couldn't have done it without him. So
Could you just, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but could you just tell us a little bit in terms of a timeline of how we got to where we are today? Just so that the record's clear, we're in Warrenville, and the name of this location is what?
Well, this is the Two Brothers Tap House.
Okay.
So we started in 1996. We leased a space right in this industrial park, but around the corner. And that's where we started. And, we had the bulk milk tanks from Grandpa, and we bought a little brew house. And we did kegs only because we couldn't afford any kind of packaging equipment. So we hand-filled kegs. At that point in time, there wasn't even anybody interested in selling our beer. So we went out and sold it ourselves. There was nobody interested in delivering it, so we went out and delivered it ourselves. And we worked that way for a couple of years until we were up on our feet. And then 10 years ago, we bought this building. No, it's been more than 10. It was 2007. Geez, almost 20.
Yeah, that's
How does this happen?
Time flies.
Yeah.
Did you bring a calculator, Rick?
Actually,
So, yeah,
2007, just during the downturn. I mean, big downturn.
Well, it was right before the 08
Is this
craziness
all you got,
started.
Karen? Is this it?
And we got some pizza,
Good
too.
dear Lord, look at all that.
That's enough. As far as I'm concerned, that's
Thank
you very much, Kerry.
I guess we'll dig in when we're done. Huh?
Yes.
So yeah, we've been in October. It'll actually be our 30th anniversary.
wow.
And it's been a lot of progress along the way. A lot of different things. There was a comment about no bottles anymore. You're only in cans because bottles just got too expensive, and everybody stopped using them. They're heavy to ship. All these things. So most breweries are in cans now, and that's just one example where we had a really nice bottling line, and now it's kind of defunct.
I used to work on a Coca-Cola truck with the glass bottles.
Oh,
Then they went to plastic.
yep.
So
A lot lighter, huh?
Yeah, a lot lighter. Saved my life. Go ahead.
You referred to your little sojourn with your brother to Europe, and maybe you can tell our audience a little bit about what particular countries at best have been the biggest influence on the creation of your different beer lines.
Sure. Well, my brother and I were there at different times. And so for me, absolutely the number one thing that sparked this whole crazy venture was going to Oktoberfest in Munich. This would have been the fall of '88, and having a wheat beer. And I had no idea what wheat beer is. I mean, if you go way back, turn the way back clock, 1988, that was the year, or maybe it was even '89, when Miller Genuine Draft got launched.
Okay.
So this is way long ago. There was no craft beer. There weren't even imports. You could find like Guinness, Harp, Bass, maybe Newcastle from England. But I know, who's thought about those names in forever? But that was the way it was. And I just spent the rest of the week seeking out wheat beers because I was like so thrown off by it and so enthralled by it. And then to go to other places, Belgium is a very, very famous beer country. They've been making beer for just centuries. Even France, when you get near the German border, that's kind of where the Domaine du Page came from, which is kind of a real rustic amber beer, very malty, very, very different than an IPA, which is really hoppy.
Yeah.
And it was just a style that they made in that little region of kind of northeast France. And we're like, wow, I've never tasted anything like this. So when we came back, we didn't make it at first, but then we're like, it was a Bastille Day. And it was, I don't know, I can't remember.
July 14th.
Yeah, but I can't remember the year. But it was some big anniversary of Bastille Day. And we're like, let's make a Brabant style beer to commemorate this. And nobody knew what the heck we were doing. French beer, you get that everywhere. France is wine and champagne, not beer. But it's become our number one seller. It's been on the list for 29 years. So
your current and future customers who come here know that there's been German, Belgian, French influence on the variety of beers that you produce.
Well, let's face it, you stole every.
Yeah, that's what we did. We went and stole it all. Can I have the recipe, please?
Let's talk about distribution here, because it always seems like in any operation of liquor, there's always a distribution question. How do we get it out to the marketplace and so on? So I know this much from talking to Karen, that your product beside Illinois are in 3 other states. Okay, so how does that work? How did you get the distribution rights to move this stuff, not only in Illinois, but in the other states as well?
Well, this could be a very long conversation.
Well, we don't
so I'll
want
try to keep it short.
Yes, please.
But it's confusing because states have control over alcohol sales.
Right. Sure.
It's not a federal issue. Now, feds do poke their nose in, of course. They want to make sure that it's,
18.
You're licensed, and they want their tax money.
Right.
But what it creates is 50 different sets of rules.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to go to Pennsylvania with my beer, they don't have liquor stores in Pennsylvania.
I know there's state control.
Stores.
Yeah, state stores.
And so it's really a different model. So in order for us to sell beer outside of Illinois, we have to sell it to a licensed distributor within that state.
Okay.
And when we started, craft beer was really new, and there just weren't many breweries. So we had much more. We were in like 15 states at one point. But what has happened is there are so many breweries now that why does somebody in Kentucky want Two Brothers beer? Why does somebody in Illinois want a Kentucky beer? There's just enough options locally that cross-state shipments are way, way down. Unless you're a really big player, it's challenging to move into different markets.
But you're happy with your market here in Illinois, and I assume that Two Brothers does appear in a variety of different retail establishments. All around the Fox Valley and into Naperville in this area here.
Well, we do pretty well in the whole state. I mean, we have entire state coverage, and we're fortunate that we've been around for a while and have relationships now with kind of all the major retailers, the Jewels and Mariano's and Costco and Walgreens, on and on.
I just thought of this, Pat. Can we get Two Brothers at the Cougar Stadium? And
Well, we were there for a long time. I don't know if you were going.
we've been working with them for the last few years. But,
Okay, well, yeah, we were their kind of preferred craft beer for years, and then they went a different direction.
all right,
so.
that's fair.
Well, we can work on that, I think, right?
We know people in high places over there. Go ahead.
So, how many different types of beer or beers do you produce?
Well, there's a lot. We do several year-round beers that are just always available.
Right.
These are examples: the Domain, the Prairie Path, the 𝐂𝐨-𝐷𝐼𝐸,
Pretty
Pale
fast.
Ale.
I like that.
Yeah. But then we're constantly innovating too. We do seasonals every quarter, but we also do specialty beers above and beyond that are more, might be just kind of a creative outlet for our brewers,
Right.
where they'll say, geez, let's brew a porter this month. And so it gives them a little variety, and it keeps everything interesting for everybody.
Now, you have a website. It's twobrothersbrewing.com. And would all the brews and beers be on there?
It
That
is.
People could check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. You can dive into a bunch of information about each beer, as well as see about the other things we do here:
Right. Food,
food, coffee, spirits.
everything you can imagine.
Well, maybe not everything, but
Except
the
for
important things.
Except for the Cubs on Marquee. So, what are your top sellers, and what's your personal favorite? It's a two-part question.
That's totally not fair. The best seller,
You said Pat was ever fair.
yeah.
FARE. Go ahead.
The best seller does wobble a little bit depending on the time of year.
Yeah.
So Domaine DuPage is always a really big seller for us. Our Amplifier IPA is really, we've been producing that for a few years, and it's really taken off. So those are fair questions. The unfair question is, what's my favorite? Because it depends on so many variables. Everybody jokes, it's like, who's your favorite kid?
Right. No such thing.
So I really enjoy all of our beers.
This amplifier, is that like the highest alcohol content?
It's not, no. But we do a lot of live music.
Oh.
And so we wanted to tie in with that, and kind of a fun little thing.
A guy like me likes to drink light beer. So if I came in and I said, "What's your best light beer?" you would say
Miller Lite?
no.
Can we cut that out?
Cut it out.
The Prairie Path. The Prairie Path is our
very
golden
nice.
ale. It's the one that we launched to kind of when craft beer wasn't as popular and people didn't know what hops were and bitter beers. It was
Back in the
transition
Coors,
beer.
The Coors days.
little better than Coors. So that's a very nice kind of medium body, lightly hopped. And coincidentally, it doesn't have any gluten in it. So if you're a
Gluten-free,
celiac,
everybody. Yeah.
there you go.
And to honor the great Prairie Path that runs it all through this area here
Exactly.
as well for the bikers and the runners. That's
Yeah,
why we like light beer.
the Prairie Path is very close to us, and during the summer months, we get a lot of people that spin off the Prairie Paths, come up here for a bite or a beer.
It's very nice.
It says full capacity. How many barrels do you produce?
Oh wow, a lot. We're not near capacity. We could, I think our max is around 80,000 barrels a year. So that'd be 160,000 kegs.
A lot of beer.
That's a lot of beer.
And in cans, that would be what?
Oh gosh, I would need a calculator.
All right.
Pat, get the calculator out, will you please?
It'd be 160,000 times 13 times 24.
I was told there would be no math.
Yeah, it's a lot of cans. A lot of cans.
All right.
How about expansion? I mean, you're 3 other states, but what is the long-term goal here? Are you happy with what you're doing now, or you see something broader as we move forward?
Well, you never know. Our kind of modus operandi has been to see what opportunities come our way. A good example is the Roundhouse. We acquired that in 2011, and the city of Aurora had approached us to see if we'd have an interest. And our first reaction was, no, we're busy enough. Things are crazy. But we ended up taking it because there was just a great opportunity. So right now, our real focus is on just battening the hatches a little bit, improving our saturation in the markets we're in, rather than trying to go out and open new markets or create new businesses. So that's kind of our thought process. To, if something great came along, we might be interested. But
Well, we're going to talk about the president on that. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jim about the Roundhouse that he just referred to and his acquisition there down right near Rivers Edge Park in Aurora. Talk about this place, the Tap House, which we're in currently. We want to know a little bit more about the workings of that. We're going to talk a little bit about Two Brothers Artesian Spirits, and finally, we can't leave Two Brothers Coffee Roasters, which is another area.
My favorite
area. All of that comes your way after word from one of our sponsors. You stay tuned. 𝐁𝐤𝐴LT Booth, a leading local law firm, is located on the beautiful Fox River in downtown St. Charles. Here's Ryan 𝐁𝐤𝐴LT.
For better or worse, there are just times people need a lawyer. Whether you are involved in a work injury, in an automobile crash, selling a home, or even planning for your estate after your passing, we're here. We're local. We're part of the community.
For more information, visit 𝐁𝐤𝐴LT Booth on the web at tbfirm.com or give them a call at 630-526-4242. Hello, friends. This is Ray Rogina. Looking to make your next move stress-free? Meet MK Movers, your trusted local moving experts. Family-owned and operated, MK Movers is dedicated to providing seamless, reliable service, from packing and storage to long-distance moves. Their experienced team treats every move with care and professionalism, ensuring your belongings arrive safely. Plus, with their eco-friendly recycle box program and commitment to transparent pricing, you'll experience a move that's both easy and responsible. Whether it's across town or across the country, MK Movers is here to help you move forward. Visit www.mkmover.com to learn more. We're back. Yes, we are, Jim, at the Two Brothers Tap House on Calumet Avenue in beautiful Warrenville, Illinois. And we've been replenished, Pat and I, with some liquid refreshment and
Eating.
We have food.
Some
and
snacks.
we're talking to Jim Ebel and Abel, excuse me. Yeah, but I look at your name and I want to pronounce that E. In any event, my question out of the gate talks about the fact that you advertise the fact that you do tours here, no charge, to your distillery here in your production facility. And the question I have is, when can customers or people come over here and want a tour? What days and how long is it?
Sure. Well, the distillery is not here in Warrenville. The distillery is in Aurora.
Okay.
So you can go to the Roundhouse on weekends for a distillery tour, and we do brewery tours here on weekends.
All right.
So the best thing to do is look at our website. Both locations are free to tour. We just like showing off.
When is the tour for the coffee?
There really isn't one. It's not quite as interesting to roast coffee as to brew beer.
There's a latte over here.
A side question, though, about people coming into your establishment, we talked about this offline, is the demographics here of young people that just as they learn to be able to drink alcoholic beverages, 21 to say 25, all the statistics say that they're not drinking very much. What do you see?
I think that's absolutely true. You see it everywhere. I mean, it's actual fact. You look at sales for beer, wine, or spirits, they're all down. And I think it's a couple things. I think the marijuana legislation in Illinois has taken some of that business. I really, really feel strongly that COVID has a humongous part to do with this, because all the 21-year-olds now, they were like in high school when COVID was going on. And what did it do? It isolated them in their bedroom on a computer for 8 hours a day. All of their socialization was over the internet. And they just don't go out in groups like my generation did,
Right.
where, oh, there's a basketball game. Let's all go out and watch.
Right.
Now it's much more like, let's live chat on as we're watching at home. It's weird, but I think social development in these young adults is just not the same as what we grew up with.
And I would add probably there's a money issue too. Not that it's expensive here, but that they just don't have the what you would call free capital to spend on the night out when they got to pay student loans, college, whatever it is.
Yeah, and even you hear a lot. I mean, not to get too deep into it, but there's a lot of college grads that can't get jobs. They're just being replaced by AI, and so that whole cohort doesn't have a job. So obviously, they're not going to be drinking. They're trying to just eat, right?
Well, let's just segue into a more exciting avenue, which is the pinball brewcade. What is that, please?
Well, we developed a partnership with Stern, which is a pinball manufacturer here in Chicago, the original and still the biggest and still the best. And we decided to make a pale ale called Pinball, and we've got pinball machines here. So we do tournaments, pinball tournaments that Stern helps support. We get the newest games. They come in and out a lot. So we're getting the new Pokemon game soon. I think maybe next week.
The 15th of April.
There we go.
Do your taxes and do your Pokemon.
Then you can come and yes.
Yes.
So it's just a fun thing to do that gets community engagement, gets people in here to have a couple beers and shoot
You
some
said
pinball.
Is Stern a pinball manufacturer?
They are, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're located in Chicago. They're the biggest pinball, and I think they created it, really.
They're
I mean,
pinball
Stern's
wizards.
been around
Pinball
for-
wizards.
Oh, that's taking us back. The question I have next is, how many beers do you have on tap? I see your tap behind the bar here at the tap house. How many beers you got there?
It depends on what's going on.
Right.
We've got 15 tap handles.
Handles, okay.
So normally we'll have something like maybe a vodka soda or one-off beer. We keep the year rounds on, but that allows us a lot of flexibility to switch things up and put new fun things on. And so there's always a great variety.
Yeah.
And of course, we have displayed some of the food offerings you talked about from scratch. The chef back there making, beside pizza, pretzels, cheese curds. What else is on the menu here at the tap house?
Well, we're your just kind of typical American joint. Have a really great half-pound hamburger. We do a Cuban sandwich
Cuban.
What is that, a Cuban sandwich?
Well,
Pork.
isn't there ham in there and cheese?
ham and pork loin and
Tony will leave up at
pickles.
Minnesota.
Never had one of those.
You're deprived, but that's okay.
Well, there's a great Cuban place in the city that we used to go to, and so when we started this, we're like, we need to get a Cuban sandwich here.
Absolutely, no question about it.
Probably most famous for our fish tacos,
Huh?
West Coast style. We were in San Diego and met some
Oh,
guys.
absolutely.
We're
We're familiar with those tacos, aren't we?
Yeah. So I think it was on Orange Beach in San Diego. Does that sound right?
Or Pacific Beach.
But just found these great tacos that we loved. And we came back and we called them. They're like, we love your tacos. We're opening a place here at Brew Pub. Can you let us know what you do? And they're like, heck yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So they shared their
You're
little
not a threat.
insights.
You're not a threat to them.
Nah,
obviously.
I don't
It's
think
the
so.
sauce, isn't it?
It has a lot to do with it, and the cabbage and there's soy in it, and
Yeah. It's a blend.
People in the area,
But a lot of sandwiches.
people in the area are familiar with the Walter Payton Roundhouse back in the day, and in 2011 you went in there and purchased it. And so my first question about that is the renovations you did there, if any, as you took over.
Well, we did minor renovations to start. And that was just the main bar. It had, after Walter died, the maintenance wasn't the best there. And so the main bar, behind the bar, the floor was rotted out. And we were afraid that our servers would fall through. So, we took care of things like that to get open. Since then, we've made a lot of changes. We put our cafe in there. So we're open at 7 o'clock in the morning for coffee and pastries. We put a small brewery in there. They had a brewery that was bigger and more to like bottle than for on premise. So we changed that around. It's been a kind of a constant thing, a lot of upkeep. It's a big, big building.
And you mentioned the cafe, but now, as everybody knows, and reading about this in the papers, Rivers Edge Park has expanded to 7,500 now capacity and so on. You're in the shadow of Rivers Edge Park. What about for dining experiences at night before a concert, let's say? Is there fine dining? Is it just like here, a bar?
It runs a much wider gamut in Aurora. So you can definitely, still get a hamburger, but you can also get a New York strip steak.
Very nice.
We do pasta. We do a lot of fish, actually. We've got walleye pike coming up.
The river's right there.
In about a week on our new menu. But still a lot of sandwiches, salads. So we really cater to a broad audience there. A lot of people will come in before a Paramount show or before River Edge Park show. So there's...
Or in the wintertime, the Kindle Market.
Chris Kindle Market, yeah. That's a big one.
Yes, it is.
We cover that every year.
We enjoy that.
It gets bigger and bigger.
Yes, it does. Pat?
Pardon my cough, everybody. I can imagine, again, we can find information out specific. TwoBrothersBrewing.com. One of the things I wanted to talk about was your banquet space and your rentals for private events and weddings. Where is that done, and how does that work?
Sure. So in Aurora at the Roundhouse, there we have a banquet facility, as well as the restaurant, the cafe. The banquet facility, our main hall, will do about 350, 400 max. So it's a pretty big spot.
Sure.
We also have 2 smaller rooms that can be combined, and we have our Zephyr room, which is my favorite room in the whole building. So if any listeners go to Aurora, ask to see the Zephyr room. The bar that is built in that room is from the Columbia Exposition, which was the World's Fair in Chicago in, I think, 1893. Oh, I was going to say 4, so 1893.
Annie Oakley was there.
Ray was not there, just so everyone's clear on that.
Buffalo Bill was there, I believe.
I think you're right.
Yes, I am right.
Who else was there was Anheuser-Busch with their Budweiser beer.
Oh.
And
Clydesdales?
This was when they first had electricity. So the entire place was built
right after the fire.
Yeah, to show off electricity. So I think Anheuser-Busch had 3 main bars on the grounds. And this bar in our Zephyr room is one of the bars from that event. And it actually has, in the carved wood back bar, it has 2 light bulbs for the eyes of this lion head. And that was one of 3 of the very first electrified back bars in the world.
Wow.
And so you can see that. And now it's a nice banquet space for smaller parties, like 20 to 30.
That's where Crimmins would have an event, the smaller room.
Well, and it's
fewer friends.
And as we all know, Jim, that was the backdrop to Devil in the White City.
Yeah.
And anyway. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, and one of the highlights I would think for all the places that you have is the live music. Is that mostly at Aurora, or?
Oh, it's strictly. We don't do any live music here. We do things like comedy sometimes. We do trivia. We do the pinball. But in Aurora, they had always done live music, and there's a pretty nice room for it.
Yeah.
So we've continued that tradition. We really focus mostly on local original artists. You know, we're not big enough to be bringing national acts in. And cover bands, we get them every once in a while, but we kind of like giving. Aurora's a very, very artistic city. Lots of artists there, so we like giving them an audience and a stage to work on.
And with the live music, the bands, the concerts, whatever you call them, they would be on the website as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a full calendar on the website. Live music every Friday and Saturday night. It's in the courtyard in the summer, so we're just getting ready. I don't think it's going to happen this weekend because this weather. I mean, it was like 35 this morning.
Yeah.
But it's just a fantastic beer garden. It's big. There's plenty of space for people, and since it's a courtyard, we don't get bugs. It's a really weird thing, but like mosquitoes will not fly over the roof to get into the courtyard.
As he mentioned before, you mentioned the river, but the fact is, in some of these places, the river does create river bugs and so on. And so the fact that you don't have that is a big plus.
Oh, absolutely. If you go over to River Edge Park, it's not the same.
I was going to say. Now, last but not least, we would be remiss if we didn't talk a bit about you launching here in 2012, Two Brothers Coffee Roasters. And first and foremost, how does your coffee differ from all the other coffees on the marketplace? Where do you get those coffee beans from, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure. Well, my brother and I just loved coffee, and that obviously continues to this day. But we just started super small. I think we bought a 1 kilo, might have been a 2 kilo roaster. But, that's, 2 or 4 pounds of coffee beans at a time. And we did it, and we, served the coffee at the Roundhouse and kind of played with it. But we realized that we wanted to promote it more, and we've got relationships with a lot of different restaurants and grocery stores and things. So we bought a bigger roaster and started doing it. Our first roaster was from 𝐁𝐞𝐞𝐫 in Chicago before they got bought out. And so he came and started developing roasting recipes. We get beans. We don't import directly any beans. We deal with big importers. And really the coffee comes from all over the world. Lots of South American coffee. Of course, Brazil is the coffee kind of focus of the universe. But we also do, Indonesian, and we get different opportunities for specialty beans at different times of the year. And so we'll move those in and out, as well as just keep our status quo, like mainstay blends.
And you mentioned the cafe down at the Roundhouse is open at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I can assume that our audience can try and taste and enjoy any and all of these coffees as part of their breakfast in the morning.
Many of them. Yeah, we do like pour overs, so you can pick a specific variety of bean if you want. We also do just regular drip coffee and espressos, all that.
Any hot chocolate?
Of course. Absolutely.
Pat will go anywhere for a cup of coffee. So
that's right, I will.
Listen, we take a lot of your time. We really appreciate your hospitality. You explained everything and anything about Two Brothers, not only here in Warrenville, but in Aurora as well. And we can't thank you enough for taking time today to join Just a Couple of Guys, and not only with the beer, but with the food offerings, etc. All the best to you as you move forward, and much success.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Pat, thanks. I think they just want to get in the pizza.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So he's right about that.
All right,
Jim Ebel, we're going to be back. It's Two Brothers. What's that? Pat,
Two Brothers Brewing.
What's that? Website again?
TwoBrothersBrewing.com.
There you go.
Spelled TWO.
We'll take a break, and Pat and I'll be back with some closing comments after we eat some food. You stay tuned.
Ciao amici, andiamo in Italia. Join Ray and Pat
Just a Couple of Guys, and Intertrab in Tuscany and Rome. Intertrab, a leader in custom group travel, has created an Italian travel experience that shares the best of what Tuscany and Rome have to offer. Located in St. Charles since the 1980s, Intertrab was founded in 1966 in Chicago by Dave House on the principle of offering first-class customized travel programs at a fair value price. Our 10-day escorted tour visits Tuscany and Rome's most amazing places. Spend our first 2 nights in the heart of the Tuscan hills overlooking the ancient town of San Gimignano. We will spend the next 4 nights in the elegant spa town of Montecatini Terme, perfectly located between Florence and Pisa. While we are in Tuscany, enjoy vineyard visits and wine tasting and an Italian cooking class in the heart of Tuscany. We will visit ancient San Gimignano, amazing Siena, timeless Florence, see the Field of Miracles in Pisa, and spend a day on the Cinque Terre, 5 picturesque, colorful fishing villages that cling to the cliffs overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. Our tour ends in Rome, where we will see the highlights of the Eternal City, including the Colosseum, Trevi Fountain, and a Pantheon. We will end with a visit to the Vatican, where we will see Michelangelo's incredible Sistine Chapel and awe-inspiring St. Peter's Basilica. First-class hotels, buffet breakfast daily, 5 dinners, full sightseeing schedule with transportation by private deluxe motor coach, an amazing Italian tour manager to show the amazing country, and nonstop flights on American Airlines. Join Pat and Ray, just a couple of guys, for this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Andiamo.
Okay, we're back, and we're here at Two Brothers. Which one is this, Ray?
The one in Warrenville, the Tap House.
The Tap House. I was amazed to learn there's Two Brothers Roundhouse in Aurora, Two Brothers Tap House, where we're at here in Warrenville, Two Brothers Artisan Spirits, that's also in Aurora, Two Brothers Coffee Roasters. Aurora. So Two Brothers are doing great, just for 2 guys.
Well,
Look at it, we can barely get a podcast off the ground.
Look at this.
They
brought the food out and we demolished it. We had a beer. You had a Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
Insulting them as all.
I
know.
I'm working.
You're working on a big trial. But the truth of the matter is that you said it very well, that they've distinguished 4 different sections of this operation, and they're doing pretty well in each one of them. The fact that they took over the Roundhouse in a key location by the train station in Aurora, by River's Edge Park, they're in a pretty good position there, particularly as the concert season revs up in the summertime.
Well, they're part of the Aurora comeback story, which continues.
Yes.
We've been there, we've seen it firsthand, and it continues.
I was really impressed with his honesty when I asked the question about younger people drinking. This is his business, alcohol,
Right.
Among certainly food as well. But the fact of the matter is, he's honest in saying that there is this trend now with the younger people. They're staying away. He gave a pretty interesting analysis of why, and I'm not sure whether I agree, disagree, or whatever. But they were very valid points that he made. Is my point, and the studies seem to indicate just that. So, but meanwhile, the baby boomers and Generation Z and a few of these other, we still go to the sports bar. We watch the games, and we have some food, and we have a beer, and we enjoy ourselves.
We're one of the last generations before social media. So
That's true.
We don't even care what people think. We're just out having fun. But there's something about the youth. They're not going out. They're not drinking. Maybe it's cannabis. Maybe it's money. There are a lot of things going on for the youth of America. But this guy and his brother, they figured it out, because this is a success story.
I'm
from
happy
the beginning.
Kevin set us up with this, and it goes to show that here in the Fox Valley, and a wonderful amount of feel good stories about businesses, and the fact that they're working hard to make sure that they make money for themselves and to provide choice for the consumer.
And this is our 15th straight podcast dealing with alcohol.
Well, I don't know about the 15th straight, but I think that 3 out of 4 were alcohol, certainly, as I said in the opening, beer, wine, and whiskey.
And coffee.
And speaking of whiskey, I talked to my doctor yesterday, and he indicated he enjoyed the whiskey podcast, and he's going to be going out there to Whiskey Acres
Nice.
and enjoy some of that bourbon. And,
We love the guys out there. And I'm still enjoying my bourbon maple syrup.
and I'm enjoying the hot sauce.
The hot sauce.
Now, before we part ways, I need to make sure I make this comment. This is regarding one of our last podcasts. And Paul, our crack producer, he seemed to take advantage of us there with the Illini. But the fact of the matter is, all we were reporting on is what we thought was a good pick in Houston.
That's right.
And I don't regret the pick for 1 minute. I thought, but I'm happy for the Illini. Let's make that clear. I'm happy for the Illini. And so Paul won't block this conversation out.
That's
At all.
I had a daughter, graduated from U of I.
There you go.
So,
And we've known to have numerous friends who are all, and we're rooting for the Illini. When this is posted, the fact of the matter is the games will have been played,
Right.
and I'm not making any predictions on that at all. I'm just going to say we're rooting for the Illini and hope that they do well.
we're upset about Nebraska's loss.
I was going to ask you about that, but I think I'll lay off of that.
But the Big Ten, or Big 28.
Oh my God! Yes, the Big 28.
they've
Right,
done-
Big 18.
Big
Actually.
18. They've done a wonderful job representing the conference, and
It won't be good though if Arizona or Connecticut win, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Arizona looks good.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. Anyway,
For my partner Ray, this is Pat Crimmins. Just a couple of guys having a wonderful time at the Two Brothers.
and thanking our crafty
Well, I'm getting to
cinematographer.
that.
I didn't know if you were going to get to that or not.
Two Brothers Tap House in Warrenville. One more time with the website, twobrothersbrewing.com. We want to thank, obviously, the good people here at the Tap House. Kim. Of course, Mr.
I think her
Abel.
name was Karen though.
Karen. And Karen's been great to us. And obviously our crack videographer. Crack? I can't.
Crafty.
Crafty? I can't get it up like
He's
you.
very crafty.
Crafty. And of course, the man in the shadows,
Man of the shadow.
Oz, wearing green slippers probably, Paul Stukel.
By the way,
am I supposed
do me
to
a
say his
favor.
name?
Well, before you go, wear this nice coat tomorrow when we talk about our Italy trip. Which, by the way, just as a point of order here, even if you're not attending tomorrow's discussion about
Which
that,
tomorrow is an
April
orientation.
2nd,
right?
yeah. But
Orientation.
there's still time for you to sign up, put a deposit down, and join us in Tuscany and Rome in October, the 11th through the 20th. Intertrav and just a couple of guys joining forces. Have a wonderful trip in Italia.
We're very confident the war will be over. And
I hope,
there'll be peace again in Europe. Well, at least parts of Europe. And it'll be a great trip.
Yeah, it
Great
will.
trip.
It will.
So, for Ray, this is Pat. So long, everybody. Until next time.
See you soon.